Man, sometimes it really is nice just to revisit the classics.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Today we have E.T. The only reason I'm reviewing this film, which came out in 1982, being it was re-released for the first time ever in IMAX for like one night only at an IMAX theater near me. Whenever they do re-releases of films, I definitely like to go see it, especially if it's a film like this. E.T. is a film that, I shit you not only have I never seen it in a theater until now, I hadn't watched this film for over a decade. I distinctly recall watching it a little bit as a kid, but not since then. So it has been, no exaggeration, over 10 years since I have seen this film. So where to start? Everybody knows E.T. You've heard it. It's a cultural phenomenon. It was at the time, and it's still, although it's not as popular as some of Spielberg's other works, it's still one of the greats. And I already name dropped his name, but directed by Steven Spielberg. Blockbuster machine over here, responsible for some of my personal favorite movies in the past, such as Jurassic Park, Jaws, just to name two, and he's still going strong to this day. Star power, there's a pretty big cast of characters, but a couple ones you would definitely know, and one that I didn't realize who it was, but it just surprised me. So the little kid star of this, is played by Henry Thomas. I didn't realize who this was until I was doing research for this, because I'm a huge fan of all of Mike Flanagan's work when it comes to what he's been doing with Haunting of Hill House, Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, and Henry Thomas has been like one of the main stars that's like ran through each of those films. He's an actor that I like a lot recently, that I didn't realize how much of film from my childhood he's been in. So he's in this. It's great. It's cool. Love it. Also, little Drew Barrymore. That's Drew Barrymore, and you know her. Come on. Now she's grown up. Beetlejuice, Stranger Things, but like a young Drew Barrymore's in this. Who would have thunk it? There's a bunch of other well-known actors in there and people that you might know, but those are the two main ones I wanted to point out just because I incidentally like both of them a lot. From here, I just was gonna kind of I don't really have any specific notes. I just wanted to talk about it for a minute. E.T. was a lot better than I remember. I think part of it is because I get to see it in IMAX, so it's the big screen, it's got a 4K restoration, the sound, the audio is great, but I didn't realize, for one, how hilarious this movie was. The comedy that's played with E.T. the extraterrestrial among the kids, and how the kids are in all this. This is actually fairly well written, well acted, and comedically done in that first act. Even the first act and a half, the first half of the movie is really funny, actually. But yeah, the magic of just like alien ship lands, accidentally leaves one of its own behind, and alien stumbles into this kid's life, and they're trying to take care of it and figure that out and take care of themselves and their family, and the government's around looking for them. For being an early work of Spielberg's, it's great. It's honestly, the directing and the tension and the comedy and the magic of this is almost better than a lot of modern movies try to pull off. It harkens back to a simpler time. This just feels pure. Not to mention, what always gets a full star from MovieMan over here, practical effects. Whether it's E.T., his alien friends, the spaceship, most of what happens in this film, I think all of it, with some just magic of film and probably taping and overlapping stuff here and there, all practically done, which makes that shit feel real because it's so well done. Because Spielberg has worked with the best and the greatest in that industry of puppets and puppeteering and practical effects. So it looks great, looks real, feels real. I don't know, I got the sense of nostalgia, even for someone like me who I don't have a heavy connection to the source material. I still felt the magic of it. the best part about this experience, hands down, was people brought their kids with them to see this. And normally you think, uh-oh, kids in a movie theater? Not when it comes to shit like this. There was a little girl, it was a row back, a few seats down. This little girl she was in it, man. Every now and then she'd be like, oh, what's that? Oh my, it's the alien, is that E.T.? And like, she's making comments, and I didn't care. Normally I get mad if people talk during films. If it's circumstantial to this, I encourage it. I love seeing a good or a classic that you can bring a kid into, and they're enraptured by the magic of it. Someone brought their kids to go see one of the Jurassic World movies or something. Unfortunately, it wasn't the original, but the kid was feeling a similar way about the dinosaurs and all this, and it's just, I don't know. These are core memories being made. This little girl gets to experience a 1982 film through the eyes of, seeing it on the big screen in IMAX as if it's opening night. That shit's magical. I doubt I will ever get a chance to be, husband, father, anything like that. But if I ever got so lucky as to be a father in that moment and get my kid out to experience all the shit that I experienced, I mean, that would be magical. That's what I look forward to if I get a chance to do it. Because that's, I don't know, just something so, because you could tell she's into it and she's enjoying it. And then that got me enjoying it more. Sure, some of this movie scenes don't necessarily hold up to today's standards as much, but a lot of it does. And you can tell this inspired so much. This inspired Goonies, Stranger Things, sci-fi, or movies where the kids are having to get together and figure out a mystery. This has been such a big inspiration for films that have come from it. It's clearly no denying that's influential, iconic, nostalgic, not as big as some of his other works. There's other more nostalgic and bigger films out there, but it reminded me how good E.T. was, Now, it's not perfect. I mean, some stuff hasn't aged too well. A couple of the jokes are a little bit like, And my only complaint, really, is that one of the main characters, I think it's like the lead scientist guy with the jingle jangle keys, they start to build him up as a character and don't fully explore him. He has a couple scenes where through exposition you learn a little bit about him, but it would have been cool if Spielberg explored his character more. In addition to the mother, you can clearly tell it's established the mother, dad's gone, and the mother's trying to hold this family together. And she has some really emotional scenes, where she thinks she's lost the kids, or she's just trying to hold the family down. And I would have liked if she got more screen time, more development as well. I get it's not about them, it's about the kids, but I feel like a large part of this film is about family as well. And I would have liked to see more development with those, with who are arguably a couple of, the main characters of the film. That would have been cool. But as far as I can tell, those were the only complaints that I think I had. I don't think pacing was an issue. I think in terms of a film like this, where it's, sci-fi, mystery in this quiet town, alien, hijinks, I think that, maybe pacing could have been, amped up a little bit, but it's honestly not that big of an issue. Pacing isn't a huge issue in this film. I'm just trying to, if I had to nitpick and find something, I guess that'd be it. But really, aside from me wanting more depth from a couple characters, this film doesn't really do anything wrong in my eyes. And for that reason, I would give E.T., which released in 1982, a very high 4 out of 5. Just a high 4 out of 5, a near perfect film. It's not perfect like some of Spielberg's other works. Could have used a little bit more polish. Again, my only complaints are, characters, but I'm surprised they have very few complaints. I was going into E.T. thinking that I was going to just feel kind of meh about it. I vaguely recall as a kid. I think I know how I feel. I think I know what kind of film it is. But I was very pleasantly surprised. Ended up being a really cool experience. Again, maybe I'm biased because I got to see it in IMAX in a big, really cool setting. But I think I still believe E.T. is near perfect. I don't really have much in the way of complaints about it. I went too long without seeing it, and that's what happened, and I lost the magic. But got some of it back now. So if for some reason you've never watched E.T., check it out. But that's all I got to say today. That was my review of E.T. Extraterrestrial. Stay tuned for the next episode of whatever I make, whatever movie I review. Goodbye, travelers.